I am about to tell you something you will never forget. Yesterday, in a quiet little cafe, I saw something that explains why most men stay invisible to women for their entire lives. There was a man, maybe 25, good-looking, well-dressed, focused entirely on the girl sitting across from him. I watched him closely for 37 minutes straight. I saw him try and fail with every single move. And here's the most shocking part. He believed he was doing everything right. That is the problem. That is you. Because 99% of men do exactly this, acting out a script they think will work, never realizing their mind has been programmed to lose with women. And today I will show you how to rewrite that code. But hear me clearly. Most men will never have the courage to do it. Here is the cruel irony. Every man thinks he is special, that his situation is different. He thinks that because he is kind or dresses well or makes her laugh, sometimes he deserves a different outcome. But it does not matter. If your mindset is wrong, everything else becomes irrelevant. It is like trying to run Windows software on a Mac. No matter how brilliant the program is, it will never work. And that is you every time you deal with women. So let me ask you something. How many times have you had an incredible conversation with a woman? Everything felt perfect, and then she simply disappeared. How many times have you been the ideal man, played every step by the book, only to watch her choose someone who did not even try? That is not bad luck. That is not destiny. It is mathematics. It is psychology. It is playing a game without knowing the rules. I remember when I was 20, that was when I discovered a brutal truth. A truth that changed everything. I was at a party, standing quietly in the corner with my best shirt on, perfect manners, polished, invisible like a ghost. And then there was Alex. Alex was not handsome. Alex was broke. Alex dressed like he had stolen his clothes from someone sleeping on the street. And yet, 3 women were fighting for his attention while I stood there wondering, what the hell is happening? That night, I saw something that would take me years to fully understand. This is the cold truth. Women are not drawn to your resume. They are not impressed by good intentions. They are not attracted to how desperately you want their approval. In fact, the more you like them, the less they want you. It is reverse mathematics. The harder you try, the faster you fail. I know what you're thinking, but it does not make sense. Does it? This is why men fail 98% of the time, because they keep trying to rationally solve what is actually an emotional game. Think about it. The software running your mind was installed when you were 5 years old. Your mother told you, be nice to girls. Your teacher said, respect the ladies. Society whispered, happy wife, happy life. But none of this has anything to do with attraction. You have been trained to be what women secretly do not want, a loyal golden retriever, when what they truly crave is a wolf. Not a hostile wolf, not a feverish wolf, but a wolf nonetheless. Autonomous, unpredictable, independent. Let me explain this. It becomes clear with one simple observation. Every conversation you have with a woman is full of what I call polarity points. Moments where you either raise or lower emotional tension. Most men are terrified of tension. They try to smooth everything over. She seems restless, you joke. She challenges you, you submit. She tests you. You try hard to please her. You are busy trying to win her approval. Too busy to realize that comfort is the enemy of desire. Think about it. When was the last time you were excited by something predictable? When was the last time a movie with no conflict kept you hooked? Never. Because human beings, and women in particular, are wired for emotional stimulation. They crave push and pull, ambiguity, tension, challenge. But you behave like an instruction manual. Page 1, I like you. Page 2, I will do anything for you. Page 3, please choose me. And the conclusion, boring. Now understand me clearly. I'm not telling you to become cruel. Stupid men think that since women like excitement, they must act like jerks. Women do not like bad men. They like men who are independent. Men who own their body, their reality, their existence, and do not collapse just because a pretty face appears. Ironically, the bad boy often has these qualities only because he does not care about anything. But you can have them too without losing your decency. And that is the perfect combination. Here is a practical example. You meet a woman online. She is stunning. Your instinct writes something witty, something clever, something that proves you are unique. You have already lost because your entire approach depends on her reaction. You are not expressing yourself. You are performing. You are not speaking. You are auditioning. And she can smell it like a shark smells blood in the water. So what do? You write what makes you laugh. You write what entertains you. You act as if you had 10 other options. And this is just one more conversation. That energy, that self-amusement, that groundedness is what breaks the noise. That is what makes her stop and pay attention. This is where most men fail. Even when they understand this idea, they still try to fake it. They pretend not to care while caring desperately inside. They feel beta, but try to act alpha. Pay attention. Women have been watching male behavior since they were teenagers. They have observed every word, every trick, every move men make. They are authentic by nature, and their radar is sharper than a lie detector. You cannot fake it. You must become it. Let me share a story with you. About 3 years ago, I met a woman, the kind that makes you reorganize your entire day just for the chance to see her again. We were talking. Everything was flowing perfectly until she said something I strongly disagreed with. The old me would have nodded along, smiled, and stayed polite. But this time, I looked her in the eye and said, "That is the most ridiculous thing I've heard all day." This morning, I spoke to my neighbor. She believes birds are government spies. She looked at me shocked. Then she laughed. Then she leaned in with curiosity because every other man had agreed with everything she said. I was the first one to treat her like a normal human being instead of a goddess on a pedestal. You see, when you elevate a woman too high, you force her to look down on you. It is physics. It is geometry. She cannot respect someone who worships her because worship creates inequality, and women cannot feel attraction without challenge. It is biological, just like you cannot feel desire for someone you are not physically drawn to. She cannot feel desire for someone who has erased all tension. And here is the biggest mistake men make. They think attraction is addition. Add more compliments. Add more dates. Add more attention. Add more availability. Attraction is subtraction. Subtract your constant presence. Subtract your need for instant replies. Because the space you create is where desire begins. The empty space is what pulls her in. Think about your phone right now. If someone always replies instantly, is always available, always saying yes, how valuable are their messages to you? Not valuable at all. Because what is always accessible is worthless. It is pure economics, supply and demand. You flooded the market with yourself. You killed the scarcity. But when someone replies sometimes, disappears other times, shows interest one moment and withdraws the next, suddenly you are staring at your phone wondering what they're doing, why they have not answered, what is going on in their world. That is a position you must be in, not the other way around. And here is what will happen to most men watching this video. They will agree with everything I just said. It will make perfect sense. You can take all the notes you want, but when you wake up tomorrow, your old programming will take control. The nice guy protocol will activate. You will do what you have always done, because changing this requires more than understanding. It requires practice. It requires failure. It requires feeling. It requires reconditioning. I went through this myself when I first started interacting with women. I failed beautifully with this new perspective. I overcorrected. I went from too nice to completely indifferent, from too available to disappearing completely, from too polite to unnecessarily confrontational. It probably took me 100 interactions before I finally found balance. But here is what I discovered. Even my mistakes were more attractive than my old perfect behavior. Even while I was stumbling, even while I was getting it wrong, women were more interested in me than when I was being the nice guy. Everything shifted. Because here's the truth most men never realize. The most unforgettable men are not the ones who chase. They're not the ones begging for attention or trying to prove they're worthy. They're the ones who stand rooted in their own presence, who carry themselves with calm authority, who let silence speak louder than any clever line. When you walk into a room, you don't need to announce yourself. Your energy does it for you. When you look at a woman, you don't need to spill words. your eyes steady and unshaken. Tell her everything she needs to know. This is what stoic masculine energy truly is. The discipline to stay composed when others break. The courage to be silent when others ramble. The strength to control yourself rather than try and control others. And here's the paradox. The quieter you become, the louder your presence feels. The less you try to prove yourself, the more unforgettable you become. Because women don't fall for noise, they fall for depth. They don't crave a man who's everywhere. They crave the man whose silence follows him long after he's gone.